Hey, Coach, in today's landscape of college basketball, speak of how much it means to the program for a guy like Caleb First. Starts early in his career, goes to the bench, and then comes back in the last two games, gets you really good minutes over the last two games. Speak about that.
Right. Well, I think just how well he played in our Toledo game. You know, we were better with him on the court, and I think sometimes that you don't have the hard stats to show that, but you have the results of your team is just playing better while you're out there, and I think that was something I didn't think we had, just that overall physical presence, and I thought it was kind of perfect timing because Dawson Garcia causes problems if you can't move your feet and you can't handle him physically. So I thought he did a good job matching up to him, and then I thought he did a really good job matching up to Martinelli tonight and just trying to use his size and his quickness and just overall physicality with those guys. But it gets different because those guys can muscle you, but they also can drive by you. And so, you know, he possesses both of those qualities to guard people. And so that he's really helped us here in the last 3 games.
Matt, I think after the Toledo game, you said your guys needed to be around the ball a little bit better. You had 4 guys with 6 rebounds. C.J. Cox had 8.
Right.
Do you feel like they're starting to embrace that? Is that getting to where you want it to be competitive in the Big Ten?
Yeah, it's been better the last couple games, and that's what, you know, I think each team that you play causes different challenges, and then some people cause different, like Maryland caused some real challenges on their front line just with that, you know, elite size. But like I thought our guys were good tonight. Anytime we can out-rebound somebody and have fewer turnovers, we've been really successful. But yeah, our guys were around the ball, and obviously CJ had 8.
Barnheiser and Martinelli needed 23 shots for 21 points, turned it over 10 times. Just what did you like most about this team-wide defensive performance that seemed to involve
we might have overdid it a little bit, but we were just scheming to keep them out of the paint, whether they were ISOing us up top, which is harder to scheme against, but when you get on the side, it's a little easier to scheme. We were fortunate when they skipped a couple of them that they missed them because they normally make those shots, but we just didn't want them getting into a rhythm of scoring on us, getting fouled, just kind of having the smorgasbord of everything. But how we did things is just really a backhanded compliment to those 2 guys. They've really played well and had great careers, but they, you know, they're both physical, they have good size, but they also have good skill in terms of driving and wheeling and dealing. Martinelli is so good when he gets at that intermediate space of shooting his floater. And then Brooks is just like a big guard, and but they put him and they kind of force that 3 or 4 to handle him, and he has good positional size, but he's quick and he can make plays. He can make pull-ups, he can shoot fadeaways, he can make threes, he can drive it, he can get on the glass. So like that was something we're just trying to make it hard for them and have active hands and not let them kind of get to their sweet spots.
CJ probably giving up 8 or 9 inches when he's guarding the ball on Brooks, but he did a good job getting the ball out of his hands. What did you like about him, and then also kind of throwing Miles into that role similarly?
Yeah, well, we didn't think much of it in terms of like when they get us in the post, because we thought no matter what guard we put on them, they were going to have a size advantage, and we were going to switch so they wouldn't get any action out of that to where they were getting open shots. So we knew they were going to get to it and force switches or force you to play from behind, and we didn't want to play from behind, so we didn't worry about the matchup. We just told CJ to try to pressure him as much as possible when he's out on the perimeter or he's bringing the ball up the court. But we were going to switch it, and then when we had those matchups, we wanted to stay square on them until they started to dribble down and turn their back, and then we were going to come with a double. They did a good job of diving a couple times and took out our guy that was supposed to rotate. And so like now when things of that nature happen, you got to be able to make that next play. But they didn't get to that a lot. They got to it some. But I liked it. Obviously, it was successful. We obviously forced a lot of turnovers there. But I also know if we played him in a week at their place, they'd probably get that figured out and make better decisions.
Matt, you guys haven't got to the best starts throughout the season, but today it seemed like defensive focus, energy was there from the jump. Is there something to bottle that up and carry it with you on the road next week?
Yeah, the one thing that sometimes good starts, like you get good shots and you miss them. You got to let them know that the scoreboard doesn't say it's a good start, but you've taken good shots. So you try to get them in from a process-based, but there's no question that it helps when the ball goes in. And now if you can get stops and you can score the ball, that's how you're going to lead to runs. And that's what you want. Like if you can get a run in each half, you're normally going to win the game. If you can get a 10-12-0 run in each half, you're going to win the game. If you can get one of them, sometimes it's a difference maker. But that's what we, are always trying to do. Sometimes it just doesn't come off that way.
Coach, how would you evaluate Bradden Smith's performance today? It seemed like he was everywhere.
Yeah, he's a good player. He allows us to do a lot of different things in ball screen offense with his ability to pass the ball. Like it's not the easiest thing to do to make those pocket passes to Trey Kaufman the way he does. But to me, for him, it all starts with him being hungry and shooting. So when he dribbles down and shoots, or he doesn't pass and shoot in those situations, like we encourage that. We think those are high percentage shots, but it also keeps everybody honest. So now when those guys are hedging or they're switching or they're getting out, we just have to make the right reads. And when he's making the right reads and being aggressive, we've had a lot of success. But I thought he was really good. Obviously, he's had some high-level games here in terms of his own stats. Like, we don't take him out much, and he sticks in there. But, he had a couple too many turnovers tonight. And anytime you're dealing with a great player, you really pick at him because the great ones can always make adjustments, and sometimes he gets frustrated with some things, but great ones get frustrated too. But his ability to shoot the basketball and pass the basketball is very unique. Good leader, good player, very competitive. And we just need to, he just needs to keep growing. He just needs to keep growing and keep getting better.
Yeah, it seems like with Jakari and CJ in the last couple of games, when they've gotten a defensive rebound, they're really ripping and going and pushing.
Right.
Has that been a point of emphasis with them when they're the secondary ball handler on the floor?
Not really. They're just kind of doing it, and that's good because it shows that they're getting more comfortable out there, And it's not like sometimes when you see guards, and it's not that we're not confident in them. It's just the fact that Bradden's so good in the open court. So now getting it to him, we do drills in terms of working on our outlets. But when they do get it in that drill, they're supposed to push and then advance to him. And I think it was Toledo. He had a couple threes where he was the recipient of that, where he's running on the break and just catching it and shooting the basketball. But I thought Jakari, especially that drive he had, I thought he looked kind of like more comfortable out there. And then CJ, anytime you start or anytime you get to play more, it should boost your confidence. It should help you get comfortable while you're playing out there. And sometimes it takes a while to get comfortable while you're out there, especially if you get spot minutes or inconsistent minutes. Cool. Thank you.